All right, what's going on, people? I know it's been a minute since my last big review or whatever, but I've been kind of busy. Plus, I've been kind of waiting for my computer to come in just so I can start making edited videos instead of actually like just doing unedited, lazy videos like this. But anyway, at least I'm doing it. The movie I'm going to talk about tonight or today is Project Power. It is the most recent Netflix movie that recently just came out like a couple days back, I think. I was watching Netflix and it was like, you should watch this. And I said, okay, because I saw the trailer for it and I liked it. I don't know what to dive into first here. I got kind of a mixed review on this movie. If you know anything about me, if you know anything like that when it comes to like watching my reviews, you know I critique a lot of stuff, but I try to be a little fair about things. I'm gonna try my best with this movie. My problem with Netflix in general, my problem is Netflix. Netflix in general, they make great shows. Obviously, all their shows are like top notch, but their movies every single time, and I know I'm not the only person that thinks this. Their movies fall so flat. Like right when the movie like hits its peak, it never happens again. You know what I mean? It just goes right down to the ground. And this movie's kind of no different, honestly. Movies like Six Underground, Spencer Confidential, Extraction, I like all those movies. I love the actors that are in those movies, but it just seems like Netflix doesn't have the crew behind the scenes to make these movies that good. Anyways, though, we'll talk about Project Power. Project Power is, like I said, the newest Netflix movie that just recently came out. Starring Jamie Foxx, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So you got two great actors right there. They got great chemistry in the movie and outside of the movie. I know they're friends in real life and everything. The movie itself, though, I'll start with what I like about the movie. The plot of the movie is really cool. It's about a modern day, pretty much like, you know, just 2020 style city. There is a drug, though, called Power. And the drug is a little pill that you twist and it starts to sizzle a little bit and you put it in your mouth. And what this does is it literally gives you a power. It gives you some type of superpower almost. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're not going to use it for superhero stuff, but you do get a superpower. For instance, one character can go bulletproof. Another character can just be ignited in fire and not have any problems. You know what I mean? He's like Human Torch. Another person's like Superman. You know, everybody's got a different little power that they have, and that's really cool. I love that idea. And I also love the fact that like it's a drug. Like it's literally like I'm pretty sure it's illegal. You know what I mean? Like they don't want police officers and everything, you know, like the government doesn't want people flying around and shit like that. So I think they try to monetize it a little bit. With that being said, though, it's not. It's distributed, and that's what we see in the beginning of the movie is that it's being distributed through different drug dealers and everything like that to get into the city. So the movie is about Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a police officer that is a high-grade detective, actually. He's pretty much trying to find the source of it, I'm pretty sure. I think he's trying to find like the source of where it's all coming from, like a typical cop or detective would. But the plot hole with him, or the plot twist with him, is that he is addicted to power. He's addicted to the drug, pretty much. That's going to lead me into a problem with this movie, though, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But he is looking for the source of the power. Detective, like I said, he's a good guy. He's a good cop. He's working with this younger girl. I don't know what her name is. I think she's new. She's a very well put together actress, though. Like she's really like, I liked her a lot. Like she's really cool. She's really smart. She's like one of those kids that drops out of school because she doesn't care about what's going on in school. She's more into like art and knowing like how to do shit with power and everything. It's hard to explain, but she's a really cool character. Jamie Foxx comes in. I'm not going to spoil exactly what he's doing, but he's out to find something. And he's really good in this movie. If you've ever played like Mafia 3, he reminds me of Lincoln Clay. Like he dresses the exact same. He's like a military guy. Really good in this movie. I liked him a lot. Pretty much these paths converge though, and they end up becoming, you know, some type of something. And, you know, the movie goes on and on and on and on. So what's good about this movie is the plot. Like I said, the story itself is super fucking cool. Like it's fucking awesome. You know, I love the idea of like a drug that gives people superpowers, and like the government doesn't like that shit at all. What I don't like about this movie, and this might be a list, but like what I don't like about this movie, besides the fact that Netflix doesn't know how to make a fucking movie, is that with that being said about the drug being illegal, we don't really know if it's illegal or not. You can assume it is, but like I can't tell. Because like, spoiler alert, Joseph Gordon-Levitt's addicted to it. Spoiler alert, his police chief figures that out, and he kind of just goes, fuck. Are you on something? And he's like, yeah, I took a pill today. Sorry. He's like, yeah, I took a pill today. And he's like, give me a badge, give me a gun. And he's like, come on, chief. And it's just one of those. So it's not like illegal, I don't think, but like he gets fired for it, kind of. Like, I don't know. You know, and that's the biggest issue with this movie, is that I have no problem. Let the record show, I have zero problem figuring shit out on my own. I have no problem with like a movie like not giving me any answers, and I just have to kind of talk to the person I'm watching with and just kind of figure it out ourselves. I love that. I like that idea. That's awesome. You know, it makes you think. Movies are supposed to make you think. That's cool. Just like a video game, you're supposed to think about how to play the game. I don't want the game to tell me how to play. I don't need to tell me A button is to jump. I can just tap the button and I know how to jump. You know what I mean? The problem with this movie is there's so many cool things that I need explained. Like, for instance, what is the drug, like, is it categorized? Like, does this one make me Iceman and does this one make me fucking Rogue? Like, does this one make me heal people? What does it do? You know what I mean? There's no label or anything, which makes you kind of watch the movie a little bit more, and you start to figure out that it's a genetic thing. So, like, you take it the first time and you turn into the Human Torch, you're going to be the Human Torch forever. Another big, not big spoiler, but another point in the movie, MGK is in this movie, R.I.P. to his career. MGK is in this movie. He's in a lot of Netflix movies. He was in Bird Box, which, again, another fucking Sandra Bullock movie that was just so flat. Like, the movie just was flat. Whatever. Good idea, just not a good execution in a movie. MGK is in this movie though, Project Power, and he's one of the bad guys. When you first see him, he's got like an ugly fucking Mike Tyson like scar down his fucking face, and it's a burn mark, and you're like, oh my god, he's a bad guy. But like, you don't realize it, but when Jamie Foxx finds him and he's like, where's the distribution? Where's the distributor? And like MGK's like, fuck you, man, and he fucking cracks a pill and he puts it between his teeth, and his teeth rot out. But they're not rotting, they're burning, because he turned into like the Human Torch. And he takes like 4 of the pills and he just turns into the Human Torch. Another problem with this movie is at no point in the movie do 2 people that have, I mean, there's maybe 1 point, but it's nothing special, where 2 people that have said powers fight each other. It never happens. Who the fuck wants to watch Jamie Foxx run away from a guy that is on fire flying at him, and instead of Jamie Foxx taking a pill and like becoming like a big Black Hulk guy and like fighting him, he just wraps him in like a cooling blanket and dumps him in a pool of water, and he's like, you're dead. Like, it's like, I'd rather have seen Jamie Foxx turn into a superhero and fight this motherfucker. I thought that was the premise of the movie, and it's not at all. It's really not whatsoever. And at no point really do we see 2 people fighting that have that power. And not only that, like, I don't even think the movie really understands its own plot. Like, to be honest with you, another moment in the movie, I'm sorry for all these spoilers, but the movie's not that great. There's somebody robbing a bank. They can't see the person in there, so they assume he's on something. He's on a power. Joseph Gordon-Levitt relieves a guy off duty, or relieves a guy that's watching the side door to the bank, and he's like, I got it from here. And he fucking walks up to the door and he cracks a couple pills and he sets his timer for 5 minutes, which, again, they don't explain that you only get 5 minutes with powers, but that does. That right there explains it to you, I guess. So there's like a lot of moments after he does that, 30 minutes into the movie, where it shows people's watches and they're like, beep, beep. Like, it's like, I don't know. They could have like, I get why they didn't explain it, because we can see it ourselves, but it's like, they don't need to put a bunch of emphasis on it. Like, I get it. You only get 5 minutes. There are points in this movie where people will take the pills and it's almost like they like forget that there's a timer. You know what I mean? So they'll like just keep cracking pills, and you're like, wait, does that add 5 more minutes each time? Or is it like, I don't know. So fucking, God, I'm losing my train of thought. This movie sucks. He goes into the bank after he cracks a couple pills, and when he cracks a couple pills, he like, you see it like take over his body. He's like, and like you can like, he's gotta take a shit or something, and he starts like going, and then he like, it activates. It's like, ooh, you know, like he just took a hit of crack or some shit, and he pulls his gun up and he busts into the bank, and he's looking for dude. He's walking around looking for dude, and then you don't see the guy, and he starts unmasking. He starts taking off masks, or like the potato sacks off the hostages' heads. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And then the fucking guy that's robbing the bank is a chameleon. Like, he's like camouflaged into the wall of the bank, so you can't see him. And then he starts running, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, there he fucking is. And he's chasing him, and they get to an alleyway, and the fucking guy gets Joseph Gordon-Levitt on his knees, and he takes Joseph Gordon-Levitt's gun, and right in front of all these other cops, he fucking puts the gun to Joseph Gordon-Levitt's head, and it's slow motions like Superman. He shoots the gun, you see the bullet come out, and the bullet hits Joseph Gordon-Levitt right in the temple, and you're like, oh, he's dead. And then the fucking bullet crunches and falls out of his head, indicating that man's got bulletproof. He's bulletproof. That's cool. That's dope. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's bulletproof. That's awesome. Right after that scene, though, the movie kind of starts fucking up. Like, right after that, Joseph Gordon-Levitt grabs the guy's gun, pop, 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 starts beating him up. The guy's bleeding and stuff like that. And as soon as Joseph Gordon-Levitt's about to cock back and hit him with that final hit, he misses the dude. Like, the dude, like, dodges really quick, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt punches the ground, and the ground goes boom, like fucking the Hulk just punched the floor. My issue with that is that he was punching this motherfucker like 15 times. Dude's bleeding and everything. He's punching him over and over again. You're telling me that he had so much force in that fucking fist that he busted a hole into the concrete under him, but that dude's face isn't crunched to nothing? Like, that's the problem. That's my problem. There's no continuity. That's called continuity, and there's none of that in this movie. Like, they don't remember what they're doing, it seems like. Like, they write something, and then they forget that they wrote that earlier. And that's my issue. I hate that when movies do that. Like, I absolutely hate it. And Netflix is a culprit of that. They do that so much, dude. It's ridiculous how much they do that shit. But anyway, I digress. Right after that scene, it seemed like the movie started turning into, like, a really bad, like, not like a really bad, but like a really, like, just typical 80s action movie where it's like Sylvester Stallone's and then like it's just nonstop talking and you're like, this is terrible plot. I don't care about this plot whatsoever. I just want to keep going. I just want to see fighting. I want to see people killing each other. That's the point. I want to see people in the streets fighting with powers and stuff. I thought that's what the movie was, and it's not really that at all. It's more like a conspiracy movie, and it's just, it falls flat. It falls completely flat. What conspiracy movies don't really. But there are moments in the movie where, like, you know, Jamie Foxx is like telling us a backstory about like the pill and stuff like that, and like you're like, I was so invested. I was so like, even midway through the movie when it already fell flat and I knew this movie was kind of falling apart, there were moments where like they would bring up stuff and I'm like, ooh, that's cool as fuck. Like, that's such an interesting plot point. And then the movie falls flat again. It's just like they don't, like, they have such good ideas that they just don't capitalize on. And that sucks. Like, it sucks because this movie is a great idea. It's a really cool idea. I don't want to spoil really anything else, but the movie 100% falls flat. Like, I don't have any other like way of saying that. Like, it literally just like peaks and then just slowly declines until it finally just is nothing. And it sucks, dude. It sucks. I'm sure it doesn't suck for Jamie Foxx and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm sure they made hella money. And I have to say, no spoilers here, but I do have to say it sets up for a sequel. Of course, it sets up for a sequel. Netflix can't do things without setting up some type of stupid fucking sequel for it. I do think it could go in a really good direction. I do think they wasted the potential of I think they wasted the potential of what this could be. I really do. So I think if there is a sequel, Project Power #2, I think it'll just be another bad movie, to be honest with you. Maybe it might be good, but I don't see them improving on it at all. I think they had their chance in this one, and I think that was about it. I don't know. I like the movie a lot. Like, I would watch this again. I would sit down and I would watch it again, but it would really only just be to show the plot to somebody, show the idea of it to somebody, and that's all I got for it. But I know this is a little jumbled. I know there was a lot of just like back and forth about it, but I did like this movie. If I had to score it from like an out of 5 like I normally do, I mean, the first half of the movie, I would have given it like a 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was so fucking cool, the first half of watching it, and the build up to like that's the thing, like the movie builds up. You're like, oh man, I can't wait for a final fight scene. I can't wait until Jamie Foxx and like the main bad guy fight. Doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't happen the way you want it to. It doesn't happen the way the movie wants it to. It's almost like everything is against what the movie is supposed to be, and that sucks. But another good thing about this movie, actually, before I forget, is a very I don't want to sound like bad for saying this at all. I'm not trying to. There's a lot more African American actors and more of a presence of that culture in this movie, and it works really well. Like, it works super well, actually. Jamie Foxx, I know he's like very big advocate for Black Lives Matter, and that's fantastic. He is very, like, they don't force that on you that much. Like, it's not like, it's not, there's some moments where they're like, oh, because you're like the young girl, she's a black young girl, she's like probably like 16 in the movie, and she's a really good rapper, and like she doesn't know her potential. And that's another thing this movie does, is she doesn't take a pill, and she doesn't show her potential whatsoever either, which sucks, whatever. There's a moment in the movie where he's like, you should be professional. She's like, no, man, I don't want to do that. And he's like, why? Because you're a black young woman? You could do anything. That's awesome. I'm glad they said that, but they don't need to say that. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just forcing it. You know what I mean? So that was one thing I was like, about for a minute. But like, the movie has a lot of urban and African American culture to it, and it's really nice to see. It is really nice to see, especially Jamie Foxx. You know, he puts a lot of heart into things that he does, and I felt like they put a lot of heart into that kind of stuff. And for that, I will score it a little better. I'm going to give it, based off the whole movie, you can't base it off just the first half of the movie, but based off of what I liked and what I did not like from the first and second half of the movie, I'm going to put those together. I'm going to give it like a 2.5 out of 5. It's half good. You know, it's has potential, could have been a good movie. Again, I've said it before, I don't think it's going to become anything special of a series. I think without Jamie Foxx, it might not be that good in general. It was cool, wasn't good enough to like go out of your way and fucking go crazy for it. If I saw this in a theater, I'd be kind of pissed, to be honest with you. So I'm glad it was a Netflix movie. But like I said, things I liked about it, I liked the story. I liked the way, like, I liked how it was trying to like make it had potential to be something bigger, even though it falls flat. I love the urban setting to it. I love the way it's like very, you know, it has a lot more culture than most movies. I like the shit. Oh, another thing, really quick. I'm sorry, this is out of order. Some people, when they take the pill, they explode because their fucking genetics don't compat with it whatsoever. So that's cool. I like that idea too. So I'll give that a little roundup. What I don't like about this movie is the complete opposite of everything I just said. So thanks for watching. Love you.